All right, ladies and gents, welcome. This is the first best of 5. This is the first decider in Titans League Silver. It took 3-4 weeks to get here, and this is, again, the first of 11. The winner of this series will move on to Titans League Gold, which starts the 1st of August, all right? Titans League Gold will then last for 5 or 6 weeks. There will be players who are confirmed to be promoted for the next season, right? Moving up to Platinum. There will also be players that are confirmed to be relegated out of Gold and back down to an attempt at Silver. And then after that, we're going to have Platinum. So I hope you guys are ready for Titans League. And I do want to say to anyone who's watching this now, and I'll introduce the players here in a second, you guys are the true fans of Titans League, right? I understand that, later on over the next 2 months, names are going to get bigger and more recognizable, okay? Quality will rise as we have Gold and then Platinum, and we're talking the absolute best of the best. But where my heart was at when I started this whole project was Silver and Gold, right? Platinum's freaking awesome, don't get me wrong, but a higher percentage of my heart and my thinking was on that potential next generation for our scene, putting more money into players' pockets that aren't the big names and giving them opportunities. And it's been so cool to see Silver players take advantage of opportunities, and there have been players who've been practicing their asses off over the last couple weeks. So, with that being said, let's actually do this. I think this could look really cool. We've got a player who used to be seen as much better than he is today, at least in terms of ladder from China, JBT. Now, he had taken a year off, okay? And then Cyclops, apologies for not doing this ahead of time. Cyclops on the other side, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he was like one of the best players back in the mid-2000s. And he's been hanging around over the last couple of years, but he's never really made any big tourney pushes. You see him on the ladder, he shows up, plays a lot, and he's like 2,300 rank. But I know it's Cyclops, I know Cosmonaut, I know Ronatovi. I don't think they're really that tight with Kazva, who's also a Turkish player who's in Silver. I think they've all been training. At least Ronatovi, Cosmonaut, and Cyclops. And I think they've been talking strategy, and they're all taking this very seriously here. So a bit confusing because both are red flags. It's unavoidable. We've got Malians for Cyclops, though, game 1 on Arabia. And then we've got JBT playing as the Gurjaras here, which is a little surprising on Arabia, but I didn't focus too much on what the draft looked like. The draft probably incorporated quite a few bans on the civilizations you might see here, but I do think Malians have the greater peak. I think you can do more with Malians. I think the thing that JBT likes to do, like JBT isn't a player who works really well with small transitions. What I mean by that is opening with one unit, timely switching to the next, timely getting that upgrade as you switch again to another unit. He's not really the best at that. He prefers to have a few walls, and he prefers to spam one unit, and boom. He's more of like a knight and boom guy, right? In this case, he doesn't get knights, but he's stable units. And the beautiful thing of the Gurjaras is they have the Shirvamsha, which can counter archers, and then they have the Camel, which can counter knights. Map-wise, Gold in the back's going to do great things here for JBT. Woodlines could be a concern against archers, though. A pretty open map for him, and is going to have to fight for map control. Over here for Cyclops. Cyclops is a pretty good map as well. Gold, obviously, more exposed than JBT's, but he does have a back woodline. So, it should be good stuff. As far as predictions, guys, I'm going to be going through and trying to guess or give predictions for every series. I think this is going to be a 3-2er here. I don't think Cyclops is going to be that good on the closed maps, which we have 2 of, and those are JBT's home maps. So that's Fortified Clearing and, I think, Regicide Fortress. I really think JBT's going to look good there, so I see him winning both of his home maps. I could honestly see this getting decided by one of the more open maps. Cyclops obviously has 2 home maps, and it's like, I think if I remember, it's Kilimanjaro and Acropolis. I might be getting one of those wrong. But because I think Cyclops might be more suited towards the open maps, I'm thinking maybe Cyclops 3-2. A Cyclops very fast uptime here. Cyclops scouting his opponent. And what do we say, right? Like walls, eco, JBT's just pushing in all of his deer. First game of what will be a long series, and he just wants to play super safe here. What are the elos for both? Elo is like 2,300, potentially 2,400, depending on the day for both. I thought about putting elo up there, But here's the thing about TTL. The guys who've really been taking TTL seriously haven't even been playing ranked. But they have lower elo. I don't know. I guess I talk about it. It's possible people just miss it in my commentary. So, okay, I mean, Cyclops is 30 seconds away from Feudal Age here, and he's looking for damage. He recognizes there's probably some walling because of his scout pathing. It was pathing right towards the town center, and that's good for him not to run into it. And this is a big moment for him, but that camel is going to be upgraded soon. Or at least it's going to start to do a bit more damage here in Feudal Age in a second. So he kind of needs to avoid that with the scout, but right now he's got his sights set on that mill. They both hit at the same time. And this is just Jibbatong being greedy, right? He hasn't moved out at all. And he's going to try and open archers, but he's invested a lot of his wood into walling. And so if you have the villager time of walling, and then you have the amount of villagers that he has had... Sorry, the cost of the walls, the villager time walling, as opposed to the villagers collecting resources. Anyways, it all adds up. It's all very expensive. And so he can't make a range yet. Really like the opening here from Cyclops. It's a very aggressive opening. He's going to have archers, and he's going to have archers before Jibbatong. Not really sure Jibbatong's food eco is going to be all that good either, but ultimately I think skirms could be an option for him as well. So, tentative first game thus far. Cyclops, I'm sure, wants to see what's back there, and so he's going to give it a shot. Runs right by the TC, doesn't take any damage because TC suck. They do. They just don't do a lot of damage against units. A lot of you guys out there are like, that's really good, actually, because I run into TCs more often than not. Oh, there was a hole there. Interesting. Okay, so Jibbatong actually double-checked his walls there because of the scout's presence. And now the scout's going to try and get out here, and the scout's going to get out because, again, TC suck. Now, there he was actually doing a good job at dodging the shots. Anyway, Cyclops backing away. According to what JBR is saying right now in chat, Jibbatong is 2,400 and Cyclops is 2,300. So based on elo, based on ranked games, Jibbatong is the favorite. And again, like Jibbatong, he was huge, dude. And then he left the game for a year and a half, and he's still, I think, getting back in shape a little bit. I also don't know how serious he takes things. I don't have, like, I don't know if he's training at all. I'm going to lean towards no, actually, because a lot of the big Chinese players underperformed, I think, in terms of their strategy in Titans League. At least compared to others. Like Stray Dog, for example, he lost. He actually lost to Cyclops. Ooh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Or wait, no, it wasn't Stray Dog. I think it was Bad Koala. If someone could maybe check the bracket and tell me, I think Cyclops had beaten Bad Koala. Anyways, Bad Koala's strategy was... It could have been better, in my opinion. Ming is a guy who's very active within the scene. He was 2K5. He lost to a 2K Eli, who's still the biggest underdog in Titans League. Eli beat a 2K5 ranked Ming 2-1. Then he beat... I mean, obviously he won his first round. Then he beats Ming. Then he beat Pella, a 2K3 ranked Argentinian. Again, this is just a 2K American. Eli will be playing a Taiwanese player, Z40, who, if you know about him, know he's a beast right now, and he's really could be a real force. A lot of people don't know about him, though. I'm excited to see Z40. Anyways, tentative start, right? And ranged units on the field. And we've had 0 kills. We have had 0 freaking kills in this game. I will say, though, that I think the resources collected's got to be a bit higher for Cyclops. Yeah, just a little bit. Like, the food transitions here for Jibbatong, we've been looking at his base a lot. It hasn't looked pretty. Cyclops has done good with his map control here. Good farming eco. He's going to see that market there from Jibbatong, and that normally means players are just going to sell their stone, buy some food. It feels like you're going to know if you're Jibbatong that your start has been weak. It feels off. So that's why he's using the market, because he doesn't want to die in early Castle Age. But look at Cyclops move around with his scout. Like, this scout has been insane. And again, TC suck. TCs don't do anything. And, you know, Cyclops looking to run through here. He's getting a little too crazy for my liking. But I'm really liking the confidence from Cyclops. Look at him move around. Little quick wall there from Jibbatong to force the scout around another way. The scout finally goes down. Maybe it wasn't correct to go in there. Anyways, it's market time, baby. This is the Arabia meta we live in today. It's just market into crossbowmen. Even though the price of crossbowmen's gone up, just seems to be what a lot of players are doing. And, you know, real concern you could have if you're Cyclops is you're not going to have the biggest archer number when you get there. But as of now, both players have sold their stone. So they do not have stone to work with, meaning they will not have a second town center. All right, so 9 archers for Jibitong. There's a world here, guys, where he's actually already doing it. Sorry, it's been first cast of the day. I was going to say where he could just damage control this with buildings by trying to defend with houses or whatever and go to find the enemy, but he doesn't know where the enemy is because he never left his base. Oh, God, can you imagine? Like, at this point, Cyclops has got to be paranoid, right? He's got to be thinking, where is this guy? He could be coming into my base at any point. If Jibitong had scouted his opponent, obviously he might have been down a deer or two. But he would actually be doing damage right now. But instead, he's looping the whole way around here. He's going the wrong direction. And this is a player that is 3 wins away from being in the confirmed in the 25th to the 48th in the world. So it happens to the best players too, guys. Or close to the best. So, you know, Cyclops still just kind of knocking on the door here. And it is some type of a threat. But I'm really wondering what he's thinking right now. He has not seen the army from Jibitong in forever. Like, it's one thing if you should have lost some villagers a moment ago, but like at this point you got to know you have to wait at home with army. This guy's moving out. Did he forget that Jibitong has the army? Anyways, Jibitong's gonna find him, and this archer army just passing is just gonna go meet up with the main force. And this still could be awkward for Jibitong. Crossbow and bodkins coming in, so villagers could start to go down here shortly. He's moved an army forward here. And he's going to see that archer range. In fact, he's going to attack the archer range, so that's going to give Cyclops a notification. And if you're wondering why he did that, well, it's because units just do that. He's trying to pay attention to this. First villager of the game goes down. Remember, I expect this to be a bit of a nervy series here. We've got a Panic Siege Workshop here from Cyclops who he's not fully walled yet, and he can't afford a Mangonel right now. So still, it's crucial for him that he gets damage done with these crossbows. Now, he could see this stable and get scared, but I think there should be some level of recognition that Jibitong's economy can't be that good, and he can't make that many Shravamshas. But he does see the stable. He doesn't see the Siege Workshop, chooses to still just back away, and the crossbows from Jibitong just waltz right in. It feels like this should never happen in a million years, and it's happened, but a Mangonel. Ooh, and Jibitong somehow doesn't lose any crossbows to it. And he does get destroyed there as he's got militia and spearmen to work with. What in the world? But, oh, man, this is so bad for Cyclops. And Jibitong will tell you that his micro could have even been a little bit better here. It definitely was wasteful. I'm seeing the nerves here at the start of an important series for him. But he killed 7 villagers. And he's got siege available at home to push this away. So say what you want about Jibitong's start and how defensive it looked, but Cyclops just wasn't able to punish it. I agree, though. It could have been worse for Cyclops. It could have been worse. It looked bad. It is bad, but it could have been a little bit worse for him. That's exactly what Jibitong wanted, though. He's like, oh, okay. So now I defend with siege. I stabilize because you ran away. And now I boom. Second TC's going up. For a second there, he queued up an armored elephant. I think he's screwing up his control groups here. This guy's going to need to breathe a little bit. The thing I'll tell you about Cyclops, so I've played both these players countless times, right? Cyclops just doesn't quit. Some players, they're aggressive, and then they say, okay, I'm going to fall back now. No, he is aggressive to a fault. There are times where maybe he shouldn't be aggressive, where he is aggressive. And, you know, that is not one of those times. Right now, he needs the aggression. And so while Jibitong has the villager lead, he still doesn't necessarily have the answers to all these crossbows. And Jibitong's going to counter with Shravamshas. I think Cyclops is playing way too open here, man. You got a wall in some ways. Shravamsha's just passing. Shravamshas say, screw your stone. He had plenty of options. He could have killed the crossbows in the Mangonel, but he actually just goes directly into the gold. And this is like crazy micro stuff right now from Cyclops on the front. And now he realizes this. Now, in these moments, usually what happens is the player who's on the front with their siege, they're distracted. And while they're distracted, they lose their siege. And that's basically how they end up falling apart and losing the game. But the siege is still there for Cyclops. He's still got 2 mangonels. And he's still got the crossbow. So if he holds to this hill and mounts a slow push here, he could definitely bring himself back. JBT, hoping for a big shot here, isn't going to find it. He did lose 2 villagers, or 1 or 2 villagers here over the last couple minutes. He still doesn't have like a real solid long-term army. Cyclops has it, and Shravamsha Riders can be good against Aerofire, but and they can be good against Siege, but there's just not enough Shravamshas yet. There's also not many upgrades on these Shravamshas. Missed a 1-for-1 here, sorry. Both players were looking here at the same time. You're going to take that 1-for-1 if you're JBT. You just need to stop this forward hill from getting out of control. And if you didn't notice it already, Ballistics is in. This is the thing about the Shravamshas. They're so fast. It's such an annoying unit. And, well, they're currently on stand grounds, and now they're going to attack, and that's going to be something that Cyclops has to deal with. You could tell that on the other side right now, JBT he's waiting for an opportunity to maybe take an engagement against the forward force. It's been a nervy game, guys. This has been a real nerve fest so far. But I think I prefer JBT's position. Now, it is 3 TCs, actually, for Cyclops. Soon. He's still got a lot of crossbowmen. He still has ballistics. Actually, I'm not so sure. JBT has only killed 3 more villagers than Cyclops has. And also, the eco upgrades could be a bit better for JBT. He really has actually had a wood issue. He's moved out to this wood line. Like, this is so exposed. He doesn't have bloodlines, so these Shravamshas only have 55 HP. He loses another crossbowman. He really just wants to kill this force. But I have personally felt like... So when the Shravamshas first came out, overpowered. They nerfed them, I think, twice. And I honestly haven't been that impressed with them. Last time I played against Shravamshas, I kept making crossbows in Castle Age. It's the dodge, right? The dodge soaks up the initial arrow fire, but then they're awful. Now, granted, he has 1 armor upgrade and he doesn't have bloodlines. But there's no fear for Cyclops right now, as he's up to 27 crossbows. He's done a good job to avoid this mangonel. He kills the wolf. He splits now. He's like, dude, I killed a wolf. You think I'm scared of this? Wolf is way more scary than a pile of rocks and sticks. And wow. JBT's in trouble, guys. Cyclops has officially stabilized here. He's got quite a few idols at the looks of it, but it's because he's looking on the front and he's pushing all the time. JBT, he hasn't really had a continuous army. He hasn't been able to continue to make units. He got crossbowmen earlier, but he just stopped producing after that. And he's hoping the Siege and Shravamshas can do it. There's a decent shot. There's going to be a shot that actually kills one of his Shravamshas. And Cyclops is so good with his micro, but finally, JBT's able to put an end to that there. Like, if crossbows would have shown up here at the same time, it might even be GG, right? Would have killed all those villagers. Cyclops is going to bring Vills forward. So it's 9-9 on the Eco KD. Cyclops continuing his push. Oh, he could totally lose this castle, though. There's 2 mangonels. Okay, splits. His micro is insane. Okay, he is bringing enough Vills. If this is a player you all know and love in Platinum, he might bring fewer villagers than this. Okay, you have to deny this castle, JBT. You have to. He misclicks onto the castle foundation there. It's a good shot there. Okay, good shot there. What do you choose, though? Do you go for the army or do you go for the Vills? You got to do a mix of both. Shravamshas are on the way. Villager could repair here and land a shot on the crossbows. Shravamshas are not in the position. The villagers actually killed the mangonel over here. Mangonel's actually going to go down or stay up, excuse me. Oh, this could be disastrous for Cyclops, and he has to abandon the castle. No! What a crazy game. Okay, but JBT's going to lose. Bam! JBT's actually going to lose his mangonel, and he's going to lose his Vills here, too. That castle can still go up. What in the world? Yeah, because your villagers are going to run, and there's still crossbows around, so they could all go down. So, it's a half-doubt castle. but it was semi-calculated. The position's really awkward for Jibitong to contest. And now you can pretty much forget about this gold if you're Jibitong. It's not completely in range, but your opponent's going to see it. So now you've got to protect this gold with everything you can. And notice we're not talking about Cyclops' golds because he's not under pressure right now. Eco numbers are still fine. It's still a big question of what unit you make. Jibitong really wants to keep making Shravamsha Riders. And just like I said before, he doesn't have the upgrades. And I don't think he actually has the economy to be able to produce a unit that's so costly on food. I like this, though. Try and raid at least. Like, try and do something. But Cyclops still has army at home. Hey, look at the idle time for Jibitong here. He's got 2 hours of total idle time. My farming eco looking better and better for Cyclops. Honestly, I think Cyclops from here, you just need to take some deep breaths and you need to farm. You've done all the hard work thus far. Oh, God. Both players have looked away. Yeah, you've done all the hard work so far. This is such a gift. Could have been disastrous for him. And now that this is going to go down, this is probably actually where both players are looking there. You just need to get that eco right. Get that eco right and think about a castle here, maybe. And then you're thinking about your army composition heading up towards the next stage. And you can see he's really starting to expand his farming eco now. Like I told you guys, Cyclops is no joke. And I don't know what his strategy is actually going to look like on the maps we see today. But I'm going to assume it's going to be very strong because he beat Bad Koala, who's a player that has a greater peak than him. Again, another Chinese player, which I still don't have chat clarify that for me, or at least I didn't confirm it. I'm 95% certain he beat Bad Koala, though. And also, again, I think he's done a lot of training, or at least conversations with some of the other Turkish guys in this group. The stable's starting to go up. If Shravamsha is all your opponent's making, and you have camels, probably would be wise to mix in a few of them. And Vil difference is just insane now. 81 to 66. I think Jibitong really wants a castle forward. Like, right now, he realizes he's behind. And he probably wants a castle here. But he's unable to really get there right now. And I'm just not seeing any positives for the guy. Like, Cyclops, okay, does have a small misplay here. But that's because he's being raided. And he notices on the second volley. And the couple spears he has around his eco has been completely fine. Again, Shravamsha's no bloodlines. Worrying signs for Jibitong. Like, sometimes you need to lose the game before all the nerves are gone. Like, when you lose the game, sometimes you're like, okay, pressure's off. I should lose this series. And I actually play better if I think I'm playing bad. I don't know why that is. I think I'm playing good. I get all weird. It's a thing I need to sort out. But, you know, for him, just the lack of a couple of these upgrades just show me how much pressure he feels like he's under. But a lot of that could be because Cyclops is bringing the pressure. And this is the castle that had to happen. Okay? It's the only way he comes back in this game. It's not going to happen. It would be denied, and he calls the GG. Remember, we talked about the maps like 5 minutes in, right? And we said, man, like, this is a really nice map for his gold. But wood could be the issue. And for Cyclops, the gold would be more the issue. But he had the safe wood on the back. We just didn't see many instances where there was pressure at Cyclops' base. Except for that, like, rogue crossbow army that somehow ended up making its way through. And Cyclops could have so easily been frustrated with himself there and kind of quit with his game plan and tried to boom or whatever. But, you know, after losing the villagers initially, he kept pressuring, kept the faith, and got the first win. Also, DE allowed one GG and muted the next. I think we've all been there, but gotta love the chat filter. Thank you, DE. Obviously, it could have been something else, to be honest with you. I don't really know. But I personally have tried to call the GG before, and it's been muted. So we have so little faith in that chat filter at this point that we're just going to assume that was the case. 75 to 68 KD there for Cyclops to start off the series. And Jibitong's going to need to rebound. He has two very closed maps, two very macro-oriented maps, two maps where Cyclops can't pressure him with intensity available. So I imagine he'll go for one of those. Okay, guys. So Jibitong picked Arena as one of his home maps, right? He drafted Incas first. Incas on Arena. Now, Incas aren't bad, but they're not like a front runner for, your best civilizations. They shouldn't be your number one pick from what I know. Turks, Burgundians, Poles, Bohemians, Byzantines, Britons. Like, there's a lot of Portuguese, Spanish. All those civilizations I would personally rank over the Incas. But it's an important moment in this player's career. He's down 1-0. Does he have a strategy in mind? Is he going to do something that no one else is doing in the competitive scene? Or is it just going to look horrible? I don't know. I mean, again, Incas aren't bad, right? Incas are not bad at all. They now are even better than ever. They are a jack of all trades civilization, but a master of none, I guess, is the issue. They have eagles, but they don't have the best eagles when compared to other eagle civilizations. They have solid skirms, but they don't have any super special skirm bonuses. They do have the slinger, which helps with infantry. They do have the halberdier and the kamyuk, which can be very helpful against heavy cav play. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, it is interesting to see the Turkish player playing the Turks. Cyclops has got to be feeling pretty good about this. He won the first game, and now he's got Turks versus Incas on Arena. Now, I think to really break down this matchup, you have to start with what the Turks will do. You have two things, and both of which they're kind of one of the best at it, right? The first thing is lots of aggression with the unique unit. So, gunpowder. I don't foresee Cyclops doing that, personally. I kind of feel like he's going to go for the next approach. And the next approach is just go light cav for relic control, and then boom. However, I will say this. If you're going light cav and booming, the Inca player can go for like pikeman, siege, eagle, all in. I actually watched Jibetong play, and maybe this is part of it. Can I look at the draft? Was Aztecs banned? Hold on one sec. Oh, Aztecs and Mayans were banned. Okay, so a little bit of thinking here. I wonder if Jibetong was really comfortable with the Aztec play against John Slow. Actually, he was Aztecs versus Turks. Yes, okay, so this is making more sense for me. I still don't agree with it, right? But in the previous rounds, he went Aztecs versus John Slow's Turks, and he won. And the way he played that game was towards Eagles for map control, into like Eagles, pikemen, a forward castle, trebuchets, monks, and just push the Turks back. And if Cyclops is prepared, he should have watched that game. And he probably could have looked at John Slow's approach and said, okay, maybe I need to change that or something, right? Because I watched that game and I felt like John Slow could have played certain things differently. But maybe he thinks, okay, that now I know what my opponent's going to do because he clearly really likes the Mesosifs. We'll see. Anyways, map-wise, it's arena, but you've got a really nice back gold here for Cyclops. Stone is forward, but it's 1800 HP stone walls. There's no way there's going to be any feudal age aggression here. But we'll see how things go. Someone says, why do they play so late? These are recorded games. So all the deciders are played at the best time for the players, and then I cast them at a time that's best for me. Also, it's not really that late. It's late for Europe, so I guess it might be a little bit late for Turkey, but like, tourney sets happen at this time all the time, right? Am I crazy? I don't think it's that late. Like, it's 4:30 p.m. for me, right? I think Chinese players still play at this time. Well, the Chinese players are a bit different, right? Because they're like, I think very Eurocentric as far as when they play, due to the fact that there's a lot of players in European time zones. 4:30 in China right now. It's okay. That's perfect time for China gamer time. Yo's probably playing some games right now, if not casting this series, so. But yeah, I don't know what exact time they played. Maybe they did play at an earlier time. So relics do benefit Cyclops a little bit. These three, they're quite close. And that could be really helpful here. Even these two, if he's going for Cav, shouldn't be out of the question. To me, it looks like he is going to do that. And again, I think it suits his playstyle. Use your speed while microing the light Cav and whatnot. And then take it to the late game. And in the late game, you're probably talking about lots of gunpowder and or Cav archers with your Cav. But there's a time window, guys, where Incas can work. And again, unfortunately, I can't reference the previous series I'm talking about with a cast. Maybe it's on John Slow's channel. I was actually watching John Slow's point of view as I was on my exercise bike. So, anyways, so, you know, the Cav Archers are great with Turks, but that it just takes time to build up. And if you're trying to wait for that mass to come and you get forward castled, then there's Trebs everywhere. You could lose a lot of map control. So I'm thinking that Jibbatong will go Market Blacksmith, obviously. But then he will add a barracks and mix in some eagles. Then it's down to what level of commitment you want. Do you want to go for 2 or 3 barracks? Would you prefer to shift into the town centers first? I think you almost have to go 2 barracks, which is just crazy commitment. And I just say that because one stable light cav, especially when you get the light cav upgrade for free, I believe it beats 1 barracks eagles in terms of production. Then again, it's also cost too. The light cap's just food. So yeah. One problem with Incas here is their monks lack atonement and Aztec HP bonus. Yeah, but their eagles are cheaper. Their eagles are cheaper. They start with the extra llama, which helps with their food. So in some ways, this strategy is a bit easier, and in other ways, it's more difficult. But yeah, to just completely circle back to what, you know, to kind of touch on my initial confusion. It has to be that Jibbatong was just really comfortable with what he did in the previous round. It has to be. I don't think, like, there's no off-meta strat you do here with Incas. Incas are just, they're booming and making cheaper units, and they have access to a few unique units. So, okay. It's interesting to see Loom as well. Loom indicates we might see villagers in the middle. And then Cyclops, he's not going to be looming. But danger is looming for somebody. See what I did there? Cyclops is going to click up. I really like what Cyclops did here. I've been preaching this for like the last 2 years. It's very rare to get upgrades on your scouts. Now, what's funny is he might actually need upgrades on his scouts in this instance, right? So I'm like a big fan of it. But if we're seeing lots of aggression from Jibbatong, he might actually want the blacksmith later. But I love having the market here because it allows you to balance out your economy in times of need. Getting the free light cav upgrades also already very valuable. And it's normally numbers of light cav versus upgrades. Double barracks for Jibbatong. Interesting. Okay. My dad jokes are Imperial Age? Well, thank you. Imperial Age, eh? Okay. What's going to happen in, like, when I'm 50? I don't know. At that point, like, I don't know. Maybe pathing at some point in life will slow me down. I'm in the Castle Age of Life. Is that what 30 is? Is 30 the Castle Age of Life? I feel like 30 maybe is the Castle Age of Life. Like, Dark Age is until you're, like... Oh, man, we got to make a video on this. Okay, Dark Age would be maybe till you're 15. Feudal Age is 16 to 30. And then Castle Age is maybe 30 to 50. And then Imperial Age is 50 plus. And then if you make it to like 75, you're in the post-Imperial Age. You hopefully have all your techs at that point. I don't know. Okay, so this is what I mean. Light cav are just so good. And you got the upgrade for free. So this should be a fight that you should take if you're Cyclops. And this is why I don't freaking like this strategy in the first place from Jibbatong. Just because it worked in the previous round against John Slow does not necessarily mean it will work all the time. Cyclops would have watched it, and this is horrible. This is horrible on so many levels, because you can't run. You can't run to save these two, because if you run to save these two, the others die too, and you lose the game. So, just not a good start. Not a good start at all for Jibbatong. Again, strategically, at least based on the first 16 minutes of this game, you got to question it. At the very least, I think being out there before you have the Eagle Warrior upgrade is a big mistake. He would actually have been able to have the numbers if he waited. And this is why it sucks, because you are not able to invest into town centers and economy if you're doing this. Whereas if you were going for the light cav, you're living the dream right now. Remember, this is one of your home maps. You already lost the first game if you're JBT, so not a good start for him. Cyclops, he's probably like, what was that? That is amazing. When you turned 30, did you hear the age up noise? That will tell you. I didn't, but I'm starting to have hearing problems in my right ear. So maybe I missed it. Maybe there was no notification. Maybe my life is bugged. What's really weird, guys, is my father and my brother, who's 11 years older than me, both have bad hearing in their right ear. It's a very specific genetic thing, I believe. I may or may not have made the joke to my fiance that happens to be the side that all of our wives, or in my case, fiance, sit on. You know, that's funny, haha, you know, you're very loud type of joke. She somewhat appreciated the joke, but I'm pretty sure she just appreciated it because she loves me. She's stuck with me now. Okay, what's going on here, Cyclops? You going in, you going out? Okay, he doesn't get converted, which is good for him. Nice shot from JBT there to protect the monk with the relic. Ah! Okay, well, Monk's going to go down. Again, big investment for this whole thing. We have 2 relics already for Cyclops. Cyclops also is on stone. The Cyclops can build up towards a castle as well. This is the perfect start. This is the perfect start. And you might say, well, T90, he doesn't have the wood upgrade. That's true. T90, he doesn't have, you know, he hasn't had perfect production out of his TCs. But when you go for the TCs as quickly as he did, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be 0. You could make it 0, but then you just don't add the town centers quite as quickly as he did. I really think Cyclops is looking good now. Sometimes a sign of just a really good player is just playing smooth all the time with no flash, right? And now the TCs come up for JBT, but he was hoping to have some relics by now. He's hoping to have killed a unit by now. It's just not happening. When are you getting married? We have no plans right now. We probably won't be married for a couple years. We're waiting until she graduates for her PhD, and the last year of that will be a lot of work and a lot of stress, so we prefer to not have to combine any plans and whatever else until we're good to go. So I think what Cyclops was prepping for here is he was essentially expecting a very all-in play from JBT, and he was thinking that he might actually lose map control. So he went to stone heavily, like that was planned. A lot of times players are going to make the 3rd TC maybe here, so you can slowly send some villagers to stone. But no, it was on the stone. And this castle is essentially preventing it, you know, preventing any type of all-in from working. And what's cool now is, as we see very early handcart, I kind of like that, to be honest. Handcart researches really quickly. I feel like a lot of people forget handcart. Anyways, like, there's no wheelbarrow yet for JBT. Yeah, now you're up against eagles, and you can make gunpowder, which is just perfect. Lightcav are going to see this. And I guess you do still need to worry that maybe monks could end up converting your Janissaries, but I think that's only going to be the case if you only have 1 or 2 of them. I think you get 4 or 5. And then this stone that he's still mining could lead to a forward castle. Yeah, PhDs are no joke. I am a college dropout personally, so I can only imagine. You know, obviously I get to see all the work she puts in and everything, so. All right, Lightcav converted. Notice what JBT's trying to do. He's thinking about a forward siege workshop here. Luckily for that villager doesn't go down to the castle fire. But yeah, he wanted to push this significantly and go for a forward castle. That's exactly what he did against John Slow. Only against John Slow, he had taken better fights early. But now the Eagles will kill the Lightcav, guys. These Eagles are no joke. And Cyclops tried to leave. I'm not sure if you can call that, you know, pathing or what there, but he's going to have to figure things out as he's going to place the second castle here. Now, what JBT wants is he wants to focus on this area. He wants to bring villagers forward. He wants a castle. He wants to win a Trevor. I do not think he was expecting Janissaries here. In the previous game I keep referencing, his opponent made gunpowder while on the way to the Imperial Age. There were not this many gunpowder units out at this stage. This is tricky. Okay, Eagles getting picked off. Monks will get picked off too. But there's 7 ranged Janissaries now. For 20 plus years, it was always 8 range in Castle Age with Janissaries. They just nerfed it to 7. You'll get 8 range if you get Elite. I actually really like the nerf, personally. Janissaries are still, like, insanely strong. Initially, I was like, just change the cost, blah, blah, blah. I actually think it's good. 8 range in Castle Age is obscene. And Turks are one of the strongest civilizations on closed maps. And they will remain that way. Monks trying to convert the gunpowder. Lycav gets converted, but then Lycav pays the price and dies, and Cyclops is the first one on the way to Imp. Okay. Guys, I'm just concerned for Jibitong. He's behind in economy. He's behind in relic numbers. Interesting we have a university going up when you get chemistry for free. I guess you could get other upgrades with the university, though. Jibitong's going to need to keep his monks alive here. He's got 8 monks. And the monks are actually going to be the greatest answer to the Janissaries. Even getting redemption now so we can convert siege. I think he's expecting bomber cannons eventually. But guys, the timings have just not looked good for Jibitong. This is his #1 civilization pick. If he loses this, he'll have to win 3 straight without his civilization 1 and 3. And down a home map. But the unique thing about Jibitong is Jibitong's actually really good on open maps. I don't think Game 1 really showed what he's capable of. You know, I was very surprised when he was choosing all the closed maps in his previous sets. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he would lose. He's not a clown, you know, he doesn't play Arena all the time. He does actually play a lot of Arabia. Heresy coming in here from Cyclops. Whoa! Holy crap. So 1,000 gold down the drain. But you do that, so any unit that is converted simply just dies instead of changing sides. I mean, he's got no shortage of gold income. He's scared of monks. Obviously, Hussar upgrade's free. That's huge. I think that Cyclops could have been way more aggressive with this army. I think this whole army could kill all of this right now if he wanted to. But it's just the whoa, whoa, whoa. It's the monk noise that scares him. And rightly so, but he takes the fight here because some monks were in front. And he's going to kill enough monks in here to be happy with this situation. And he's also making siege behind this. Jibitong is still 30 seconds away from the Imperial Age. And he's just got 1 castle. And we're going to have a bomber cannon. We're going to have a Treb. And Cyclops should drop another castle right next to it. Exactly. Just, I actually think you could place it further forward. But just protect your siege, protect your army, and creep forward this way. Yeah, this is going to be so rough. Even if you hop out with your own Trebs here, it's already bad you're repairing. It's already bad you don't have a lot on stone. But even if you try and Trebler, you can't really because there's going to be a bomber cannon. So you are making Trebs that have no value to you right now. Unless your Trebs get lucky and hit the bomber cannon. But even then, it's 2 Trebs and a bomber cannon versus, well, it'll be 1 Treb here in a second. And you think, look, T90, okay, but Incas have good skirms. What about skirmishers too? Well, you can't make skirms all that well against bomber cannons. Hussar's still going to be good against skirms. Just like, yes, in theory, Incas have answered everything. But again, they are a civilization that has tons of options. But they don't have tons of, like, good build-up in game flow. They don't build up momentum nicely on Arena. For Turks, we clearly could see how Cyclops was able to get the momentum and keep the momentum. But honestly, it might also just be that first fight was just, it was such a big investment for Jibitong to get the army, and then he just lost it with no resistance. Castle goes down. Big problems for Jibitong, and he's probably sweating right now. He's going to get the Halb upgrade, but look at that. He's going to lose these Trebs. He's got no chance of taking out these castles. No chance. And, well, monks are dying everywhere. Janissary going to be an amazing unit against the Halbs, and you can just back up to your castle. Yeah, Kameyooks and Rams would obviously be very difficult because you have a castle problem right now, right? Love the micro from Cyclops. Backs away towards his castle here. And do we see cav archers now, or is he going to go for hand cannons? I feel like going archer ranges when you have 3 castles, that indicates cav archers. Because if you wanted gunpowder, you would already have gunpowder. He's also getting Bodkin Arrow, so yeah, probably cav archers is the plan. The Jibbatong's going to have to try his best here. Both the neutral golds on this arena generation are right in the middle. So both players are going to be vying for control of that. I'm not sure I love Cav Archer, but his position's so good that I think he could definitely do it. But I mean, Halb still would be doing bonus damage against Cav Archers. And I mean, that wasn't a very good fight, but again, he got Heresy, so any units that are converted simply die. So I think you could be a little bit more bold with your army against the monks if that's the case. Monks, you might as well kill them, right? Because otherwise they're going to get more conversions later on. Stable's going up as well from Cyclops. I think Cyclops is thinking, yeah, let's not go Cav Archers. And he's got tons of wood, tons of gold. Still, a big problem for Jibbatong is you cannot realistically push this situation. I think one thing that Cyclops is missing is more on stone. Because ideally, you'd just be able to creep forward with more castles here. I actually wouldn't mind Bombard Tower either. I think it's an underrated move with the Turks. And when you have that much gold, if you had the stone too, it would be awesome. Upgrades from Jibbatong are really bad too. Just now getting fletching for the castle, that's not the biggest deal. But he only actually had 2 attack upgrades. He didn't get any armor. But, like, should I be critical of that? Because armor isn't going to do anything against Janissary anyway. You just get smashed. You can't go skirms because the bombard cannons are out, and the bombard cannons will have 14 range. And if you go skirms, your opponent already had hussars. So, yeah. All it adds up to is don't pick Incas first for your draft, man. There's so many other civilizations that could have worked well for you. At least from my perspective. But I think, you know, the conversation around Jibbatong was he left the game for a while, returned within the last, I think, 6 to 8 months. It might have actually been a year at this point. He hasn't played a ton of tournaments. I doubt he's been watching things. And he's got his preferences because it worked in the previous round. You want to stick with what works. You're a talented player. You have faith in your skills. And I have all these opinions because Age of Empires is it's my existence. It's my life. Okay? I play the game more than 99% of the player base. And I'm watching the game more than anyone else. So I'm a very opinionated character. Right? And many of you guys, many of my viewers... Shout out to this one hand cannon that's there with the Janissaries blending in. You watch a lot of these games, so you clearly have a greater understanding of the Jibbatong in this situation. I thought we'd maybe see something special when I saw Incas on the draft board because it's just not good. It's just not good. Anyways, he doesn't want to resign right now. He doesn't want to accept that he's losing these games. And Cyclops is going to be... He's going to have 3 match points available, right? Because he's going to be 1 win away from moving on into gold. And he's looked really good. Game 1, he could have almost thrown. Losing the initial villagers on Arabia was rough, but we saw his aggression and how good he was with it. And then this game was just like classic standard arena. Nothing special, but it was special how clean he played this whole time. You know, expanding at the proper times and obviously selecting the right civilization. And this is rough. Yeah, these hand cannons, I don't think that they were initially intended. I actually do not know how he got 5 hand cannons. I mean, obviously he created them. But why? Elite Janissary's on the way now. Jibbatong is doing his best Mr. Yo impression and is refusing to resign. And if you've ever been in this never been in this position in a tournament, it is because you are frustrated and you are just kind of hoping that playing on a little bit longer can improve your mindset, and it gives you more time before you have to face that 3rd game. And sometimes there's no real like logic that I can explain behind it. Also, if you're super focused, you sometimes don't even realize how bad the situation is. I don't see how he could not realize that in this particular instance, but that does happen. Makes that guy the leader of the shooty guy squad. Yeah. No, I get it. These are the leaders. Look, they're in front. These are the leaders of the shooty guy squad, and then these are the... I mean, it doesn't seem right. Oh, wait, these guys are smaller, but they have the intelligence. They also have cooler hats. So yeah, those are definitely the generals. Okay, Jibbatong. Well, I'm being as creative as I can here to cast this game. I hope people acknowledge my effort. Because this is bad. He's on skirms now. But he had to fall all the way back into his base to get skirms. He's trying the unit that people would have maybe wanted to see from him earlier. Had he tried it earlier, he also would have gotten smashed. In this case, though, it's just, you know, he's going to get smashed a little bit later. Bomber cannons aren't actually hitting the skirms, but they will. And Janistries actually do enough damage to kill the skirms anyways. GG's called, and wow. So in the first game, we had the bleeped GG from Cyclops. In this game, we have the 3 lowercase g's versus the 2 uppercase g's. How many variations of the G or the GG or the GGG are we going to have in this series, guys? This is, you're only going to find this drama in Titans League. This is so unique. No, it's not. Okay. Cyclops looks good. Jibbatong looking rough right now. He will have Fortify clearing next. Have to question the Inca's choice, but more than anything, you have to question the first fight. Sure, it's a greater investment into the Eagles, but it could have worked, and it did work before. After he got the map control, he used that greater investment to run around the map before his upgrades, and he just got destroyed. Losing those 6 units hurt the snowball so hard in that game. Because pretty much what happened in his game against John Slow was he had Eagle Warrior, and John Slow had to invest into like double and triple stable to end up killing it. It turned into Eagle Warrior Pikeman. Jibbatong had a pretty good economy, and then he was able to time a castle in the front for the Trebor. I still think Cyclops would be in a good position in the long run because he timed the stone nicely. Like, I think he clearly watched the strategy from Jibbatong. So had he not taken that good fight, I think he would have had his castle up and he would have been able to push back. But yeah, things just didn't go according to plan there. Okay, ladies and gents, welcome. Game number 3. And in the previous game, it looked rough for Jibbatong. It just did not look like he had the civilization he wanted. And when I saw the civilization, well, it was clearly the civilization he wanted, but when I saw the civ, I was like, what? I disagreed with it, and it didn't look good, okay? Here, though, he's got a civilization that is tested, a civilization that has performed insanely well over Regicide Fortress over its history, and that civilization is the Chinese. So Chinese start with more villagers. They have cheaper techs, okay? And the weakness of the Chinese in a normal game is that they start with all those vills, but then they have 0 food. A regicide start, it gives you food, okay? So you maintain the 3 villager lead, and then you can work with really good economy and very good options, right? So here is Jibbatong. Here is Cyclops. Cyclops, I'm a little curious about this. So he actually had drafted the Burgundians in the 3rd spot on his draft, okay? And the Burgundians are known for being a good closed map civilization. But he's not playing with the Burgundians here, which surprises me. Now, this is not the first time we've seen Vietnamese, because people love to use Vietnamese against archer civs here, so they can go for rats and archers, which is like the superior archer. And Vietnamese do have good economy. They don't have to spend wood on their eco upgrades. Their eco upgrades also research faster now too, so that's good. I think I would still prefer to have the cheaper eco upgrades and being able to research at NH earlier. But he made a judgment call. He's up 2-0, and he may have done one of 2 things, or both. He could have, he could have never planned to play Burgundians at all, and he could have actually picked them away from Jibbatong, because Jibbatong picked Incas first. I bet you any money he saw Incas from Jibbatong and assumed that was for an open map. So he said, oh, he hasn't drafted a closed map civ yet. I have my civ set. Let's actually pick Burgundians, because that's the one civ that scares me if I'm Turks. So it could have been that. Or it could have been that he's planning on playing Burgundians on one of the upcoming maps. So, or maybe he just forgot it was there. Or maybe he mistook the B for a V. I don't know. Obviously, the last two things I mentioned, probably not the case. Okay. Fun fact, I got Fortress on the ladder, decided to be a smartass and pick Chinese. Didn't think about it not being Regicide. Worst arcade ever. Yep. Yep. They ruined Fortress on the ladder, unfortunately, guys. Think of all the fun we could have if it was Regicide. Also, the start's way easier for people. Because of the Regicide resources, there are some elements that are awkward. It's going to happen eventually, right? We're going to get Regicide. I'm making the map, okay? I'm going to give them the map. Team games, 1v1s, it'll always work. I think it'd be so good. Not all the time, but like, can you imagine? Lowy the legends, but there's kings for potential king snipes. Like the comebacks that could happen? Ah, okay. All right, so Scout is over here for Jibbatong. He could potentially attack Cyclops' king here. Cyclops is not going to expect that the king is going to be, or sorry, that the Scout is going to be there. Anyways, king is fast enough to get away. What's Jibbatong's scouting look like? He does have his king here, by the way. It's very common to put it in a tower. Okay, so he sees the gold. He sees the gold. Got it. Neither player has actually collected the 50 stone required to make the next TC. Oh, shoot. They haven't even clicked the castle age yet. Okay. I'm way ahead of myself. I'm sorry. But yeah, what is weird about Regicide start is you actually start with 0 gold. And then you start with 150 stone. And then you start with more food. So anyways, if you wish to drop the 3rd town center, you would need to collect 50 stone. So typically what happens is players just walk back and forth 5 times. And then they're fine. Obviously, this would be like 1 trip for 3 villagers and then an additional trip for 2 of them. And then you get the stone. I know this seems random, but what do you think of Diplo exploding kings with pros for a community game? It is a little random, but we're talking about kings, so it's all good. I've incorporated pros recently, and I've incorporated pros before. The tough thing is pro has to have interest, right? And I can tell you there have been examples in the past where players have had interest. And then there's also been times where I have encouraged pros to play. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't, but these days, someone comes to me, they went in a game, and they're a really big name, for sure. 100%. Make it happen. I don't want anyone to do something for content if they're not interested in it, though, right? Likely the performance, the fun of it is not going to be there. And, you know, why have someone do it if it's not their thing? Okay, so Cyclops taking stone with 1 villager, so that's a little bit different, but that's completely fine. I personally don't like it, and this is like a real nitpick from me, but I feel like this would be a good spot for a town center. So the mining camp's kind of in the way. But yeah, it's not that big a deal here. And look at how much wood he's saving after his eco upgrades. Vietnamese feel really good, man. Their economy is not bad. TC there for Jibbatong. TC there for Jibbatong as well. Perfectly timed. But again, you've got the villager lead. Your techs are cheaper. And you've got a pretty decent tech tree. Yeah, I think Regicide Rumbles is the best way to motivate pros to play Regicide settings. Oh, make a gate. Make a gate. Trap him. Okay, sorry. Because there's money on the line, and then it's like it's a dedicated event where lots of other high-level players get to play. It's actually pretty cool, too, in some of the Regicide Rumbles we've done in the past. It's been funny to see certain players pick on guys, like, that you know they played ranked against a bunch. They're just like, oh, finally an opportunity to get this guy, you know? Sometimes, like, 5+ years of playing ranked games or playing team games with or against people leads to, you know, certain king snipes, so... What's the difference in res collected at the moment? Yeah, let's look at that. Let's keep an eye on that. It's 300 for Jibbatong. And again, he still has the villager lead. He still has the villager lead. And being and his farms, sorry, are going to have a lot more food on them in the long run, being Chinese. And I think the goal here for Jibbatong's perfect. This is the first time, really, in this series that I've looked at this game plan and said yes. And I think he realizes Screw relics. Relics are great, sure, but this is a boom map, okay? Relics are so much less important on Regicide Fortress. The castles are always forward on Regicide Fortress, this version anyways. So what I want is I want economy. I'm then going to build up towards enough Chukunu to take control of this region, build another castle, and win the Trebor. Because you have to kill quickly. And if you're Vietnamese, you're thinking, if I get to enough rats and archers, if this goes late, my civilization's arguably better. But this is the part I don't like. I think we've seen so many players against better economic civs delay their investment into economy by going for relics. Relics is a long-term thing, and I feel like what's going to decide this game is the early Imperial Age thing more than anything. So I actually would prefer to have seen a 4th TC instead of the monastery. This is like so high-level thinking, though. We're talking 175 wood. I don't like him spending 175 wood and a little bit of gold on monks. Is it that big a deal? Maybe it's not, but I have very, very strict opinions on this because I think on these types of maps, it is those tiny tweaks that can make all the difference. Okay. Yeah, to the person who wanted to see pros in Regicide games, if you haven't watched my Regicide Rumble event, watch all the Regicide Rumbles. I feel like it would be amazing for you to just ask the question, having not heard of Regicide Rumble, and having all that content to watch. There's some really good stuff. If you're going for imp timing, the 4th TC is not necessarily good, though. I agree. So what I would think of, right? So my thought would be, if you're going 4th TC, you actually invest into the Ratson numbers to at least deny the castle from being here. So your imp's going to be delayed, right? But if you can delay his castle position, it could be good. Generally speaking, 3 TC boom versus 3 TC boom, Chinese will always have the edge, I think. And then he goes 4th TC. And he will probably make rats and archers soon. Scout's still alive for Jibitong. It's currently healing in the castle. It's out. Scout did also get healed up for Cyclops. Sorry, talking about game theory and whatnot, so I haven't really touched on it, but I did show the Scout fight, so you guys have probably picked up on that. Okay, hit on the hill versus hit on the hill in a second. If Cyclops goes in for one, bam, okay, it's even. Bam, it's not. Bam, bam, it's even. Bam, bam, lots of bamming. There's Chukunu. Res collected now. 1,000 more for Chinese. I think Burgundians could be competitive with the resources collected. I have seen a lot of practice games that players are doing with Burgundians, Chinese, etc. Burgundians have surpassed Chinese in resources collected, at least by early Imperial Age. But I agree with you guys that love the Vietnamese. I do not think they're by any means weak with the boom. It's just Chinese are crazy. Oh, hello. Okay, he almost had mercy on the monk. Monk goes down. We've got 1 relic for Jibitong. He's building up towards Imp. He's getting Loom, so he will bring villagers forward to drop the castle. Jibitong's game plan has been perfect here. Now, he doesn't know that the castle is there, but he knows the castle should be on the front. So he's going to waltz forward here with villagers and drop his own castle. And this is where... So remember when we talked about the Imperial Age time being delayed with the 4th town center? Absolutely is. But if you had, like, been making rats and archers, I think 8 rats and archers potentially, denies this. But, that's why we get so particular on timings, right? Because it's like tiny tweaks here or there could make all the difference on these maps. You only have so much wiggle room for strategy in Arena or Fortify clearing. So much of it is execution. And the timing of the strategy. And I think Cyclops he's definitely losing this castle. Good from him, though, to move this king. This king was in the castle. Or maybe it was in the tower. I forget. There's a relic way over here. I think Cyclops knew about it. No, he didn't. He sent the monk that way. And Jibitong also doesn't know about it. That is a really stealthy relic there. Love the castle spot. And he's going to be loving life when he sees the castle spot from Cyclops. I think Cyclops should maybe consider Elite Skirm here instead of Ratons. I think... Actually, and Jibbatong expects it. He goes, oh, okay, well, I'm going to kill his... I'm going to win the Treb War. So he can't make Ratons. I'm going to go Cav. The funny thing is we are still seeing Raton Archers for Cyclops. He does have 2 castles. Look at Jibbatong scouting here, guys. Extremely active with that scout. And he's going to use that scout to track this. No loom, actually, on these villagers, so the scout could get kills. And Cyclops is going to leave because he just knows... It's not that the scout can necessarily ruin his day, but the fact that his opponent knows he's going out there with no protection means he probably should not be going there. And it's a good call from Cyclops to go back, right? Because the Chukanu were immediately brought over here. Okay, trying to tech Cavalier now is interesting. I think I would still prefer to see all the Chukanu upgrades. But I think his... This is funny. Okay, so if Jibbatong was going full Chukanu with castles everywhere and Trebs, I think Raton Archer is a bad play. Because I think you will lose your castles and you will not have the numbers and you will have problems, okay? I think Elite Skirm would be good. But... because we have Jibbatong trying to go Cavalier, and he's not maxing out on Chukanu and planning to go for the next castle here, maybe the Raton Archers make sense. I mean, Raton Archers are certainly going to have a lot more utility than the Imp Skirm would here. Now, how surprising will this be, I wonder? He doesn't see any of the buildings. The big thing here from Jibbatong, though, that's so nice, is he doesn't actually have to get... He doesn't have to run in. This is already such a huge benefit to him to take out this castle. But it takes a long time to get the Cavalier mass, and you do not want to be fighting before the final armor upgrade. And he's now showing the Cavalier. Interesting. The Ratens... They need to protect this Treb here. It's worth it if you kill the Treb. You absolutely need to keep your trebuchets alive. Villagers making a move to the right, where the scout's on patrol, still killing things, and the Cavalier probably pay off already there. Now Cyclops knows he's still just going to be relying on rats and archers. This scout is a beast, dude. Still no loom for Cyclops. Holy cow, dude. He did wall this, which I really like. It's not completely walled because he got wooed. Holy crap. This scout's still not dead. Okay, it's dead, but he lived a great life. No imp armor. No imp armor is a big deal here against those rats and archers, especially if the rats and archers become elite. Elite should definitely be something on your mind if you're Cyclops. I think Jibbatong should be castling and outposting the sides at this point. Trying to push in deeper might be too big of a risk. I think a castle on this hill protecting that gold could be really nice for you. Some vision over here could be good as well. Because now you could have rats and archers and bombard cannons from the Vietnamese player. Why do we still not have the final armor? I'm going to assume that Jibbatong thinks he clicked it. And he's going to go... Watch this. He's going to go to his blacksmith to get upgrades for his skirms here in a second. He's falling off hard, guys. He really... He stopped... He wasn't sure what to make. Yeah, there. He goes to his blacksmith. He actually has double blacksmith. Don't tell me Jibbatong's going to throw this. He's killing villagers. Also, Cavalier made it back here. How? Cavalier's going to kill so much there. But Cyclops is trying to stay really focused on the front. So, Vill count's going to be quite bad for Cyclops compared to Jibbatong. Jibbatong... still trying to raid. Is going to find another villager killed there. Remember, he does not have access to bombard cannon. And now that the rats and archers are going to be elite, skirmisher makes a lot of sense. Now, imp armor is going to come in. So now suddenly he's going to be able to hold his own a lot more. The king is inside that tower. No way. No way one Cavalier does it. It's actually a really close game now. Because this is the composition you pick Vietnamese for. Jibbatong knows it, so he's going to go try and just kill the siege so Cyclops stays in his base. The Cavalier he's gonna get converted or die before the conversion's there. But guys, I'm telling you, this is a really hard unit to kill. I think you maybe need Onager now. I like how Jibetong's still trying to hold this position, and because he needs his buildings to be able to produce a lot. I love the amount of buildings he has. I love the raids. But he's basically avoiding the rats and archers because the rats and archers are ridiculously strong. Yeah, that's true. I guess the Cavalier went through there because that hole was still exposed. I love how nice people are saying things today in my chat. It's like, literal open wall on side, and T90's asking how we got in. T90, every time you snort, I literally vomit. Sorry, maybe you guys don't sound exactly like that, but that's how I read them. Oh god, Jibetong, 150 pop. He's lost a lot of army. An expensive army too, right? He's lost some Trebs. He's lost some Cavalier. He's catching up on upgrades though. He's really ramping up production. And it is still just 2 castles for Cyclops. So, and he does not have stone access. Jibetong. King is nice and safe, obviously. Still not taking this gold. Is going to castle this gold, though. And I think that's his mind saying, oh, extra gold. What about the other one? He's going to outpost the right. I know him. I understand his brain. Outpost the right. Does that count? Was that there before I said that? Hold on. Okay, it was there before I said that. But anyways, it's fine. He can make a lot of skirms with this, and he has full upgrades on the skirms, so he can get really good trades against the Ratans. Cyclops losing his bombard cannons stalled out that push so hard. It is now just a game of long-term resources versus a player who doesn't have it. I'm wondering if you could maybe go for paper money here. I don't actually know the cost of paper money, but your lumberjacks bring you wood. I feel like if it costs any gold, you should probably invest it all your gold into Trebs. But yeah, we'll see. Anyways, petards were created a long time ago from Jibetong, and he didn't really see a use for them. This is the best use for them. There's also still a hole in that wall, but I assumed earlier it was fully walled. So did he. He probably doesn't even know how he got back there with the Cavalier. And the Cavalier are going to force some type of reaction. And Cyclops, he's hoping to get this relic in the meanwhile. And he's going to lose the monk. And here comes Jibetong. And Jibetong's ready, guys. Jibetong's ready to turn it around in this series. This could be big for him. It looked really rough in the previous games. But we understood that he probably used that game plan because it had worked for him before. This looks really good. He does have the inferior skirm compared to the imp skirm from Cyclops. But he's got the much better economy, so he can just outmass his opponent in the long run. It's become very difficult for Cyclops to defend that open area in the north while also paying attention to this. Elite rats and archers are a real sight to behold, though. Like, they have 10 pierce armor, and they do 11 attack. They do 11 damage. So, yeah, the KD's probably not going to look pretty for Jibetong, even though he's killing all those villagers. Because Jibetong wants to go for a castle here. Look, he's just sending in more bodies. He knows it's not good, but he knows it could be good enough to maybe get a castle down and nope. I like the timing on that. Raid in one area and then get ready to push the main area right away. Seeing a bit more of the speed from Jibetong there that I know he's capable of. And he's also keeping the relics away from Cyclops. And Cyclops has 12 on gold and it's all right here. I think if your opponent's going double range units, I think Siege Ram would probably be a really good option. It's very easy to get tunnel vision in this moment and just feel like you have your opponent on the ropes. You don't want to take your focus away from this to do anything else. But I think it's arguable that you should. Because Rats and Archers and Imp Skirm is just so good against regular Skirm. It's not even funny. How Cyclops still has a positive KD when he has lost 81 villagers. It's crazy to me. He's killed 2 villagers. He just killed the second. I think the Treb hit it, actually. And he's lost 81 vills. And he has a positive KD because of these Rats and Archers. 100 kills for these Rats and Archers. Jibetong, you've got this game, dude. You just have to settle your brain down, okay? Chill out for a second. and ram the sides. Push the sides. Or keep the Cavalier there. And Cyclops making a mad dash, a desperate dash, right? Because he's out of gold. He's trying to head over to that gold. And that's not going to happen. And that's rough. Also, Cav getting back here again. But Castle was deleted from JBT because he knew that that was going to be a bad idea. I would just maybe castle this, right? Castle this if you can. And again, maybe Onager? 3 or 4 Onagers? Even if one just gets a hit, it could be good. The weakness of the Rats and Archers, they don't have a lot of HP. They can easily become the Flatten Archer if they get hit with an Onager shot. Cyclops fighting, though. He's up 2-0. He could resign, right? He can be like, okay, I can't do this. But he's not going to. He's not going to give up. 18 Imperial Skirms, 47 Rats and Archers. Finally able to work towards getting the relics again. But something's going on here. His Rats and Archers are out of position. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, not the monk. Oh, that's painful. Oh, that's so much gold that just went down. Oh. I think he put these guys on stand ground, which is really odd. But he also is probably looking at other things, right? He's probably trying to fix his economy. Trying to mass a unit somewhere. Quick, let's just pan to the res collected right after this. If Cyclops continues to play, he's still top score. He's still got a massive score right now. It's because of all these freaking kills. This is why people pick Vietnamese. Okay, so let's look at res collected. 13,000 more resources collected for JBT. JBT might actually run out of gold himself. Like, he's losing lots of gold units to kill these trebuchets. But he's still denying this gold. He isn't actually mining this one. I think he wants to treb push from this side, which is actually quite smart. Cyclops refusing to die. 140 pop. He only has 85 villagers, which is simply not good for this stage of the game. Again, I'd like to see Siege Ram from JBT. There's nothing really to stop Rams beyond just the villagers from Cyclops. And I think it's a lot faster, right? 1 or 2 Rams here, boom, you're in. 1 or 2 Rams here, boom, you're in. But he doesn't want to take his attention away from this area right now. If Cyclops had 4 bomber cannons in this moment, he could be pushing so much faster. Oh my god, JBT's just sending everything he can versus the cannons. It's so costly, though. Is it going to pay off? Maybe that's the play. He is also focus firing down the Ratons instead of wasting his skirms against the enemy skirms. Random villagers from Cyclops hoping, praying to be able to get access to gold yet again. That gets denied. Trebuchet going to break through. Treb is also over here for JBT. Out of gold there. JBT's got 15 on gold. It is all the gold income over here. But still way more than Cyclops has. I think JBT needs to switch back to the strat he used before as well, right? The raids were working really well for him. He just kind of stopped. So he's working on it now. He's going to have Cav to go through here. He will use the skirms soon, probably. And then he's got the trebs on this side as well. And unique aspect to this little treb push is that the trebs are positioned perfectly, so the Rats and Archers actually can't see the castle. But I think the Rats and Archers can still take out the trebs, so still kind of a problem. But not as big a problem as this, like Kevin on the wood line. The tone in which my voice went up and down there for a couple seconds was like one of the winning tunes you get that gets played during Mario. I think that's Mario, right? How did I pick up? I don't even know. I'm just crazy. I'm just crazy. Never mind. Anyways, GG's called. Raid killed so many villagers over here. JBT had to kill 180 villagers in this game to get the job done. And Cyclops resigns with a massive ball of army. He had 74 army, but couldn't get the job done. I think JBT, while he was a little rough around the edges at points, he had the perfect game plan. It was boom, take out that initial castle, and then adapt from there. And for him, it was just the entire map was controlled. He never truly lost this area, and the raids were very strong from him in this game. We saw why both players picked their civs. We saw why Cyclops picked Vietnamese, because the rats and archers were insane, but we also saw why the Chinese were preferred there. But I don't think, though, like, you remember I said that I kind of disagreed with Vietnamese when you have Burgundians? I think that sold me on the Vietnamese a bit more. Again, I never thought they were bad, but I can see why you would prefer them. I do still think that a player playing competently with the Chinese at the same level should always push down the initial castle and get a bit of momentum switch. But they're so good that even if you fall behind, you can still win games. So I get it. Rats and archers are the way to go. All right, resources collected. 18,000 more resources collected in that game. It was costly to win that one. And still, he didn't really have an answer to the main army. He just would use his cav to snipe any of the siege from Cyclops, so Cyclops couldn't push, and then raid the economy. Good stuff. We have ourselves a series. JBT on his way to a comeback here. He will have to get wins on Cyclops home maps, though. So, game one was the most open map that we had, and Cyclops was the aggressor. JBT will have quote-unquote weaker civilizations available as well, if we look at this draft. But he's got Franks, he's got Lithuanians, he's got Byzantines, he's got maps that can work well. Oh, and actually I forgot one of the home maps for Cyclops was Cross. Yeah, Lithuanians are fantastic on Cross. And then I could see Franks or Byzantines being pretty good in Kilimanjaro. So, yeah, at least in terms of where the civilizations match up, I think it could be pretty decent here. But yeah, Vietnamese did not get the job done for Cyclops. He still finds himself up 2-1 here. This is the decider to move on to gold. Sophie, don't worry about it. You're all good. And I'm excited to see how JBT plays this. Now, on Arena, I talked about how I felt as though JBT didn't have the greatest outlook on strategy, okay? He left the game for a while. But there was a build when Vietnamese had 150 food at the start, where you would send everything to wood at the start, and then you could add fishing ships quite early. You now get 100 food at their start, so it nerfs that build a little bit. And I'm noticing here that he has also adapted his build. I mean, to get to round 4, you'd think he would have had to play Cross already. I don't know why, but I was kind of expecting him to maybe try the exact same build order and not really know in this moment. But it looks like he will have an idea. Wait a second. Villager was out and about. Yeah, okay. Timings are maybe a little bit weird. Anyways, here's how you break down this matchup on Cross, okay? Japanese have an incredible fishing economy, and they have incredible flexibility early. And they are the best civilization for applying pressure with good fishing ships behind. Not only that, they're probably one of the best defensive civilizations on this map if you try and take their fish, because their fishing ships are very strong. So I feel as though Japanese are actually the superior civilization in the event that you take advantage of their strengths. And we've had instances where players don't build the early barracks with the Japanese and don't try and apply pressure, which is something that I feel it can do very well. And I've disagreed with it. But we've also had instances where we've seen insane things happen behind the man-at-arms. So I would say go man-at-arms. Is JBT even going to dock here? This is really weird. Like, initially, he went to straggler trees. Then he pulled the vills off of straggler trees and he went to pig. Then he went to wood at kind of a normal time. But then he didn't go 5 on wood. Oh, he already placed the dock. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I'm so sorry. I was gone for 7 hours this morning. I was in tons of ocean water. I tried to take a nap, but I only had 10 minutes because I had to run into the bank to get some Australian dollars for my trip. I'm also just not smart. So, like, those are 3 big things of why I'm completely miscalling this game. I'm sorry. Been a busy day. All right? T90 blind. I can't actually use my my outdated contact prescription anymore, though, because I did get new contacts recently. And dude, I'm telling you guys, if you haven't gone to the eye doctor in a while, go. Please, go. There's a whole world out there you're missing. Oh, my goodness. You'll still miss the dock when you're casting if you're like me, but yeah. Dock from Cyclops, if anything, is a little late, from what I remember. The villager could also get picked off here as well. He also placed the dock in an area where there's no shorefish, which is definitely a little bit weird. That tells me maybe there was a plan behind it, and that plan seems to be walling this area. So Lithuanians have always been one of the best civilizations at getting to the early fish. And so they use the food at the start to then get even more food from the fish, right? And then what they love to do, and I say they as if it's a decision from the Lithuanians, but what pros love to do with Lithuanians is either really fast scouts or they sneak 2 villagers on your dock. So the fact that Jibitong sees this dock right now tells me that he might, since he's on his way to feudal, send 2 vills and go here and just try and loop through. But Cyclops is scouted pretty thoroughly. So he may wish to wall this, so his pond is pretty much protected. Cyclops, he scouted his own base pretty thoroughly. He's not scouted Jibitong at all. So that's a surprise, and also doesn't have a lot on wood. So I don't think this is going to be man-at-arms from him at all. It seems like it's probably going to be a little bit more defensive. And yeah, he's probably going to be defensive. Look at this from Jibitong. He's expecting some pressure possibly, so he's going to even outpost his pond. This looks like a Vill sneak to me. I feel like 2 Vills are going to go forward. Yep. That could be gold, though. Because right now he's thinking, I can't go here because he's walling this. And Jibitong is looking to see if this is going to be walled, right? Going to golds. I think what you could do, if you realize you can't contest your opponent's fish, is I think at that point you could honestly just, yeah, go archers or, you know, send a villager. I guess it's and or send a villager this way to add more fishing ships. Can Lithuanians just not dock enemy water and play standard? I believe they'll still be ahead in eco. Yeah, they can absolutely play standard. And if you're expecting man-at-arms, opening archers makes a lot of sense. If this gets to Castle Age and the game is even, guys, advantage Lithuanians. Their faster skirms can be really tough against the Japanese infantry and archers. And they have so many fun bonuses that can help out. Faster working monasteries feels very strong. Getting extra attack on their knights after they bring in a relic is really strong. So I personally do not love how safe Cyclops is played here. But the last time I saw Japanese played safe like this, the player got completely smashed. So I think there's like part of that in my brain. There's a scout. The Cyclops is going to see that he would be spotted if he sends a Vill there. And he also scouted that, in fact, his opponent's going archers. That's actually really good scouting. Yeah, anyone who's anybody on this map is going to have that scout moving all the time. I wonder if Jibitong will be tempted to go for some skirms here. You have the food income. But he's already on gold, so it just feels natural to continue to make archers. There is a vulnerability here for Cyclops, so he may wish to push that area. So just slow build up towards archers. And both players still on 4 fishing ships, which surprises me a little bit. It feels like they could both be getting away with squeaking out a couple extra fishing ships in their pond. Yeah, there's a fishing ship there. I'm sure Cyclops... Yeah, Cyclops is going to do the same. Okay. Yeah, because it's all... You have a lot on wood with these builds, but you're in a spot now where you can produce archers consistently. That little attack from Jibitong on that villager really worried Cyclops. So now Cyclops comes home with his scout, sees the archers are there. He's late to fletching by a couple seconds. But he micros, and now he's going to have fletching as well. Jibitong may even think that his opponent doesn't have it right now. But, oh, it doesn't matter. They both have it, but Jibitong dives. Jibitong! Really nice snowball here. This is so good. The scout is also stronger for him right now. The scout's very weak for Cyclops. Uh-oh. 3-1 KD, about to be 4-1 KD, or I can't really predict exactly how this will go, but I know that Archer's going to go down. That's really good for Jibitong. Not only do you have similar amounts of food eco as your opponent, but you're also on top of your opponent's berries, which delays them massively. So it's just the same build. Like, I really would have preferred a man-at-arm opening. I'm not crazy, guys. You have the extra wood to do it if you build up towards it properly. I think if the roles reversed, I could see Lithuanians playing safe, because it does feel like the longer the game goes, the better it can get for Lithuanians. But for the Japanese, it is the opposite. Cyclops, though, does hold here. He only lost one villager. If there's ever a moment where we're going to see market abuse, though, it could be this for both players. But, oh my god, JBT's going to go scouts, too. He's going for forging. He's going to have archers as well. Ooh, this could be awesome because his opponents shifted heavily into skirmishers to defend from this archer attack. It was the right play from Cyclops to do that, but JBT's already building up towards the next best thing. It is micro-dependent the next couple minutes, but I think if JBT doesn't show the first scout... Oh, man. Okay, so that could hurt. He's gotten forging, so that could be decent. It's crazy, but if you have 2 scouts here, you mop it up completely. Having just 1 scout could make it a bit more awkward, but he is taking out the archers. Another scout's following. And again, high pressure stuff for both players right now. 99 KD, that's going to be another skirmisher that goes down. There's still more scouts on the field for JBT that have to come forward here, but this does give Cyclops a little bit of time to stabilize, maybe make a spearman, maybe get some walls. Res collected. Sorry, I misclicked that. Just like basically dead even, but JBT is a little bit ahead for the time being. Now, this is going to run out eventually. 7 to 8 on this version. There's a lot of different versions of 4 Lakes and Cross, but on the versions you've seen in my tournament, 7 to 8 seems to be what players are maxed out on. Anything else could be considered a little bit excessive. And all right, scouts just diving in at this point. You have forging, so it's pretty easy to kill villagers. You know exactly where your opponent's army is. And we'll see if JBT commits towards a villager here. He's being very patient. And he sells a stone and he clicks up to Castle Age. In the meantime, he was probably hoping Cyclops was going to chase him with this army. Cyclops actually did the right thing. Held to the hill so he couldn't be distracted. Added a spear. The spearman's going to get some nice hits here. Japanese spearmen should be able to defend from that. Another scout runs through. We do not have any skirm production for JBT, which to me feels natural because your opponent has lots of archers and you're Lithuanians. But he probably wants knight crossbow. He wants double gold comp, and that could be really strong. I guess his opponent doesn't have many skirms, so he doesn't have to worry about making archers, and he's going to find a vill here. I mean, it's pretty crazy, though, how JBT didn't really attack villagers when he was in here. He ran the whole... He had a full tour of his opponent's base. Second villager was killed, though. That's really nice. This is also really good for Cyclops, though. And, you know, additional scouting presence could have maybe been used towards the corners. I think JBT wants to end this quickly. We saw Cyclops micro his heart out with archers in game 1. JBT made archers, lost his archers, and gave up on archers, which is actually what he's going to do here. But he's going to go knights. Knights obviously could be beastly here. I wonder how fast we're going to see fish traps. Not worth it right now. You still have like 500 food in that pond. But guys, I believe in the JBT comeback. I think he's played it quite well. He's going to be faster to crossbow and bodkin. He's also going to have knights. Not sure he's going to be able to afford the upgrades on the knights, right? Like the armor. I could see that being concerning. Sorry for my sniffles. JBT walling at home because he has the time to do so. Wants to go for a siege push. Sees the archers now from Cyclops. Will expect, obviously, that Cyclops is going to go for the same upgrades. And Cyclops has done a really good job, though. Like, not losing those vills. Not losing that crossbow. God, his unit micro is really good. Okay, how's your crossbow micro here, Cyclops? How's your defense? Drops the town center, also drops the uni. So he's hoping for ballistics. And you have food, right? So it makes sense to drop the town center to get more vills. JBT just doesn't want to lose this position because it feels like he can win the game with it. Long term, this gold will be important for him to deny from his opponent. But right now, I'm wondering if he realizes that Cyclops is coming forward. He doesn't see any of the army. This is where having a forward siege workshop is really painful. This is also where if you have a hole here, you could be screwed. Doesn't feel like the knights can really do anything for Jibetong at the moment. And yeah, there's the crossbows from Cyclops. I think Jibetong will have seen that. And he's going to try and place houses here because he knows that this gold could be destroyed otherwise. And he places the foundations and backs away, and then here comes the mango. No hole, right? Oh! What? Oh, just that house is holding it. Okay, so there actually was a hole. Meanwhile, Knights go back here. Mangonel shot on this side. Ballistics 10 seconds away for Cyclops, who has the villager lead right now. And his crossbow micro is so freaking good, man. It is so good. He finds himself in these awkward spots, and he can get himself out of it. Still having some crazy things happening over here. Jibetong is going to be on his gold, too. We'll see if Cyclops notices. But Cyclops does notice. His TC's affected by ballistics. And the crossbow's still looking for damage. But there's a Mangonel here. Doesn't see it that time. But still seems pretty comfortable against it. And still could be problematic for Jibetong. But problematic for Cyclops that he's completely off of gold right now. Look, the lack of hesitation from the guy. But guys, I still feel like skirms would make sense, right? If you're Jibetong. This is a crazy game. Yeah, I guess he only has one archer range. Oh, big shot. He needed that so bad because we know Cyclops can micro. The Cyclops was trying to deal with these crossbows right now because he has ballistics and his opponent does not. This is an intense game and an intense series. Earlier in this game, Jibetong had sold some of his stones, so he actually cannot drop a third town center. Again, I'm looking at that wood. I'm looking at that gold. And all I'm thinking about for Jibetong is go skirm. You're up against only crossbowmen right now. Skirmisher could be so helpful. Also, this, guys. There is a villager coming to the south right now to try and dock. Sorry to look away from the crossbows, but I wonder if Cyclops is going to notice that. Jibetong has only been on one pond, but they both have been very distracted on land. So they haven't really been able to transition towards the other fishing areas. Oof, big shot. And a close game. War Galley upgrade coming in for Jibetong. Jibetong does that because he sees this dock. So I think Cyclops will probably lose his fishing ships here. Okay, this is fish trap time. I can't tell you how difficult it is to plan for this because, well, no, you're able to pick up on this, right? There's armies everywhere. You're transitioning towards other forms of economy. You can't, like, really be like, okay, pretty sure, like, 28 minutes and 20 seconds I can get my fish traps now. No, you just kind of realize when all your fish traps run out of res. That's a nice shot there. But this is good for Jibetong because Jibetong's TC will kill the rest of the crossbows here. Big villager lead and big eco lead for Cyclops, though. 82 eco. And the other thing that I'm impressed with is how many farms he has right now. He's actually got 18 farms versus the 11 farms from Jibetong. Yeah, now he's going to fish trap away. And he may never contest this. I think Jibetong will finally add some fish here. But just 15 crossbows for Cyclops. Again, he's got a good economy. But the army he has right now is siege and crossbows, all of which can be dealt with by Jibetong's siege. The siege numbers are going to be so valuable. And there's 3 mangonels for Jibetong. Some are leaving his base right now. Also, interesting to note that the stone for Cyclops is all very exposed. So he can't really build up towards an offensive or defensive castle. Jibetong is already on stone. It's not with significant numbers, but a forward castle could do wonders for him. All right, but this is what I think Cyclops does a great job at. He says, okay, my crossbows give me no value at home. I could just use siege for that. Now we counterattack. That's what he did before. That's what he's going to try and do again. Jibetong, no relics. Stopped making knights. He might not know his opponent has ballistics. He is going to see this, though. So he sees those crossbowmen, pulls him away from pushing. Good job, Cyclops. This is Jibetong checking to see Where am I vulnerable? Let's drop a town center. I like that, though. Dock in the south, making fishing ships. Dock over here, making fishing ships. You can see what he's cycling through. We are going to have knights for Cyclops, which is pretty wild, right? Japanese knights are not that great long-term, but it could really work out with all the exposed areas of Jibetong's base. I think the timing on the knights is pretty wild to me, but he wants map control. And Jibetong is just trying to defend with siege and probably plan for imp. He does not have enough to protect his siege right now. Okay, crossbows and mangonels being pulled back inside of his base. Cyclops and Jibetong both microing here, and Jibetong gets the better of the engagement. So now he's got 3 mangonels still. And Cyclops knows that something's going to deal with these crossbows eventually. He doesn't know what. Look at the resources for Jibetong. He wants to go imp. This is an important moment for Jibetong. He sees knights now. Him seeing knights is so good, actually. Because now he knows he can never leave his base. He did land a shot here. He has to wall up. He has to make sure he's defended. Maybe even use the market to buy a castle. Just to protect yourself. The worst thing you can do now is leave your base with your army as you plan towards him. I don't think he had realized, actually, until just now. Now he knows. And now, it still could be rough for him. Okay, close game, guys. This is the series I was expecting. The first game and the second game, it wasn't the true Jibetong. Jibetong's warmed up now. And Cyclops is ready to go. He's produced so many knights. I think like 5 to 6 knights, they bring you a lot of value. 12 knights? This is just a guy who wants to make a lot of army right now. Not sure if it's optimal. Guess we'll have to see. Crossbows ran in, somehow escape with their lives. Gold could be a long-term concern for Jibetong, who is obviously going to click up to the Imperial Age here, right? And crossbowman will die to the castle. Imp is on the way for Jibetong. Here he goes. He's still got more stone back here. 28 crossbows for Cyclops. 12 knights. Crazy TCs now. He can start taking stone now, right? Because you have this map control that he has. And he's looking for a way in. Isn't this open? Hasn't Jibetong been running between these buildings? Guys, don't ever do that, by the way. Just make a gate, okay? Like, make a gate from the edge of the stable to the edge of the map. Please don't do, like, it's such a 2015 gamer move in Age of Empires to just leave a hole between your buildings. Please. I wouldn't even wall with your military buildings. Like, I wall with my military buildings, and then I make a gate between, you know, certain areas. Because it's just so unbelievably awkward at times. Latus is the unit choice from Jibetong. It's not a bad unit, but he doesn't have momentum. And he has still lacked economy compared to Cyclops. If you look at the res collected, Cyclops has been ahead. It's crazy how much army this guy's made. The Latus will have +2 armor. The Latus will have +1 attack from the relic. Knights are going to die for the siege, which is why I think they were initially made. And siege will end up going down. Cyclops needs to take out these castles then. If he sees Latus, he needs to take out the castles. He also needs to make sure he keeps his crossbows alive. This is so freaking dangerous. This dude's a maniac. I would never click in there. But he's doing it anyways. And again, there's a hole, and the knights are going to show up, and the knights will take out that mangonel. And now, actually, right before him, Cyclops could get a really good fight against the Latus and the crossbows here. Cyclops is at 180 pop. He's got a massive army on the left I'll show you in a minute. But then he's got his main force. And again, perfect time to fight. It's right before Imperial Age kicks in for Jibetong. But Jibetong applied so much pressure in early Castle Age, kind of fell off with the numbers and was happy just to use the siege and defense. He will lose, he'll kill this army, excuse me. But there's still another army here for Cyclops. And I feel like if it's 2 castles on this hill from Cyclops with Trebs, Jibetong could have problems. He really needs his castles. But then again, he's placed another one here. Oh, man. And there's villagers exposed everywhere for Cyclops. He actually goes for a very defensive castle now because he's aware, guys, that this army will likely spread out to that area. Good understanding of the flow of the game here. Oh, God. Third relic coming in now for Jibbatong. He's also adding archer ranges to go for skirmishers, which, again, would be so valuable here. I actually think skirm's the most valuable. Look how good that castle is, though, from Cyclops. I love that. You just know. You understand what the opponent's going to do and where you're vulnerable. Okay, Trebs are needed, Cyclops. You have to have a castle to protect these crossbowmen, because when Elite Skirm comes in, it's going to be really dangerous for you. These villagers are awfully unprotected. And Jibbatong hoping to get through 13 plus 5 attack on these Latus with 3 relics. Jibbatong can also, he's had a bit of a gold issue, right? He can also conveniently move out to take this gold now. I want to say advantage Jibbatong because I think his army composition makes the most sense in the long run against Japanese, especially just the skirms. But the timing of things and the economic state is really awkward. The economy for Cyclops is disgusting. 142 economy. He's going to have 200 pop in a moment. And he's going to have 20, 30 units in queue on top of his 200 pop. Whereas Jibbatong, he's still catching up on some upgrades. I mean, he's getting some amazing kills, though. He's catching up on upgrades. He still needs a bigger mass of skirms than he does now. And he will need an answer for this castle. Now, I don't think you can get the unique tech at this state if you're Jibbatong. You definitely need to get just like the standard armor upgrades, and then later on, if you're floating resources, you're fine. I also think not getting Elite Latus is the right play because skirms is your most important unit right now. Japanese halbs are ridiculous against Cav. But this is where missing an armor upgrade or two can lose you the game because you are taking so much damage from the crossbows. And again, these things are still just crossbows and they are not arbalest yet. Man, what a game! What a game. I think you can give this up if you're Jibbatong and just expand to the other side. He's doing that. Stone and gold's over there. Relic. 4 relics? Oh, God. And if this castle goes down for Cyclops, Jibbatong can kill everything with the Latus. It doesn't take long. It may be late. But it's strong? No. Okay. But can you relocate? And then can you deal with the raids? There's a lot of damage control that both players need to work on right now. This is pretty wild, though. Jibbatong really put a lot of focus here. I think I would have been very tunnel visioned and focused on the defense, but when you do that, it allows your opponent to take control of other areas. Best form of defense is sometimes offense, right? And the armor upgrades I wanted to see are coming in on those skirms. This is sick. This is an amazing series. Again, I think the civilizations would be very good for both players if this goes to a 5th game as well. Would be on Cyclops' home map, but all the pressure would be on Cyclops because he will have lost 2 straight. We have Gambesons. We have supplies for Cyclops. He's going to try and go champs, which is going to be really tough if Latus are out there, but there's only one castle for Jibbatong. So eventually, maybe there's not an answer to the champions. It's going to take a long time to get there, though. Love it from Cyclops, just committing to this Treb numbers. Holding to his hill. He's got healthy upgrades on all the units he's fighting with. His army composition, though, could be completely countered by skirmishers, and that is this weakness right now. We have a bomber cannon somewhere. Oh, there it is for Jibbatong. He needs to take the Trebs. He also needs to repair this castle like mad. Okay, firing on the Trebs here. Oh, God. This could be really bad for Cyclops. This could be where it turns. Treb's going to go down. Bomber cannon's still firing, but the bomber cannon goes down to the Trebs, and now the Treb's going to go back to the castle. What a decision it was to click the Trebs onto the cannons there. Like, still the economy's a bit better for Cyclops. The army count's insane because he's been queuing everything. Light cap, halbs, skirmishers. All of which could still kind of be countered by skirms. Japanese light cav. Take him out on trash day, dude. They're just not good. Oh, God. But the latest! Jibbatong's desperate. He needs the Trebs. It's worth it if you get 2, I think. Maybe. Okay. I think that's decent enough. He can still get good damage in with his skirms. He's still got the bomber cannon here. And, oh, wait. Trebs from Jibitong have been over here this whole time. They're going to go down as well. But not a good moment to be a trebuchet, I suppose. Okay, but now that unique tech, you need to get. Your skirms definitely need to have tower shields now. I like this castle from Jibitong. I don't like the fact that Lightcap are arriving to deny it, and that could be a big moment for Cyclops. Just passing from Cyclops, though. He probably set waypoints and is looking at his base, because this is... I mean, he's just like one big raid away from losing so much eco here. This castle's actually going to discourage Jibitong from ever trying it, but still. Castle count is important here, guys. The Cyclops has 2, and he could make a 3rd. And, oh, wow, he's even taking gold here. And, I mean, Lightcav in the fights are not great, because they lack the final armor, but Lightcav can still raid exposed areas. The same theme presents itself in this situation as we've seen many times with Cyclops. He just always has so much more army coming. Jibitong seems to really like to wait for a certain unit type, and he's more of like a big moment player. He doesn't have the same consistency as Cyclops. Elite Latus is wild to me, but he wants his strongest unit. He does have the gold. He does have the relics. Is it a bait to go for Elite Latus when you have the relics here up against Japanese? Or is it the game-winning play? It's one or the other. It could be sick. I think he could take all of these trebs. Those trebs are all really exposed. But he might not realize. And also, there's just so much army from Cyclops. He's got 80 army, man. It's ridiculous, really. Latus are an insane unit, but there's just so much army from Cyclops, and the castle goes down for Jibitong. And if Cyclops now... Honestly, this castle's fine because it gives you more stone, but imagine if he runs forward and drops the castle here. Just goes for the kill. I think he has the army count to maybe consider it. And Cyclops finished this game off against Lithuanians that have skirmishers and imp. Not quite with full upgrades, but they're, I mean, full upgrades with blacksmith. Anyways, that... And then also against Elite Latus, also against 4 relics. I might have repeated some things there. This is sick. You're going to wait to attack me? Oh, that's great. Okay, well, I'm going to raid you then. Have fun dealing with that. Look how he splits up here. Lightcav here, Lightcav here, Lightcav here. This group goes unchecked. Still building up towards champion here, guys. And he actually has the golden come without the relics, which is wild. And there's only 16 Latus. Eco KD is actually really close right now, but Cyclops is going to take a big lead there because the Lightcap continue. Any blacksmith upgrades that were missing for Cyclops now coming in. And this is not the first time he's killed a bomber cannon from Jibitong. I think Jibitong's really struggling right now. If he had 50 skirms, 40 Latus, he wins. Well, okay, that's 90 army. If he had 40 skirms, 40 Latus, I think he wins every fight. It's becoming really difficult for him to get that mass. But he is finally trying to raid himself, and he's going to head back to this gold. Cyclops does notice it. And okay, well, you know, champs are going to go down. There's some hand cannons in the mix there, too. That's pretty good. Oh, but this is really good from Cyclops to find this gold. There's so many little golds on this map that's still remaining. Cataparuto for Cyclops. Dang. Only thing we're missing now is like a tower creep from Japanese with Yasama. Oh, God, not again. Jibitong's really struggling to keep up with it. He does land a shot, but another bomber cannon's down. You don't want to be defending raids with Latus. You also don't want to lose all your Latus there only to take 2 trebs, and Cataparuto instantly pays off here. And the issue for Jibitong is castles. He's on 2 castles. I don't think he's ever been above 2. Obviously, there's been different castles on the map. He's been forced into repairs at all times. He's had raids to deal with. And every time I look at the freaking population, man, Cyclops has 70+ army, but he's got 30 more units in queue. And it's a diverse comp as well. He's got Lightcav for raids. They're ready to go. He's got Halbs. He's got Champs. He's got Skirms. Spots a bomber cannon, kills a bomber cannon yet again. That bomber cannon had taken out his trap there. I think Cyclops is going to win the series with this one, guys. Jibitong seems a little stunned right now, and I am too, because it's Elite Latus with 4 relics, with skirmishers. But Jibitong was never really allowed the time to settle down. Cyclops has used so much speed and so much positional awareness. And also just, there's no hesitancy in his attacks. In Castle Age, I think you could have argued he was really far behind at the start of Castle Age, because he should have been on the back foot, but he just ran to his opponent's base anyways. He said, "Oh, that's funny. Well, I'm gonna make a lot of army, and I'm gonna send it to you, and good luck with it." Would be the last game in what was a long road for Jibitong here, if he were to, accept his fate here. So might take him a bit longer to want to call the GG here. He won 3 rounds before this. And I'm sure that he had hopes of going with some of his teammates and, being in Gold League. There's money on the line in Gold League, but there's prestige in Gold League. And you're amongst a better group of players to really challenge yourself. But I think the road's going to end for him here. Going Light Cav now. Not sure Light Cav's going to solve it. He's just going to get raided everywhere. A couple more villas go down on this side. Archer ranges go down. Monastery will go down. Cyclops looks good, though, guys. I think, having seen Jibitong play over the years, I think that he could have brought a slightly higher level. Now, it's also hard to say. When someone leaves for a year and a half and they come back, the scene's been getting better and better. Is it that this is the peak Jibitong that we knew in the past? And everyone else got better around them? I don't know. I think the arena game, picking Incas on arena, looked really, really bad. If he wins, it's a masterclass, but he lost, so it looks bad. This game, I honestly thought was really good. I thought it was a good game, but Cyclops is just so freaking consistent. Cyclops looked killer. He had the killer instinct, which is what he's going to need in gold. So, congratulations to Cyclops. The Cyclops will move into the Gold League. And it's going to be tough for him there, as it's going to be tough for anyone who comes out of silver into gold, because there's a real elite group of players waiting for him there. But he deserves a shot. Good stuff, man. Cyclops, the enemy of China. He beat Bad Koala and he beat Jibitong. And I had predicted a Bad Koala and Jibitong final there. So, good stuff. 94,000 resources collected. He had more wood, more food, more gold. Didn't have as much stone, but he certainly ended the game with more castles. Lots of safe castles he placed. And he just kept grinding down those castles there from Jibitong. I still feel like for this particular game, if Jibitong would have made skirms. Now, I know that Cyclops eventually went knights, but if he, instead of just giving up on range unit production and going for siege, I think that elite skirm would have been very valuable, because it's fast, right? You can chase down the crossbows, and I think Cyclops, because his micro is so good, he's going to come into your base anyways. He's going to ask a lot of you anyways, even if you have siege. He can't move out with crossbows if you have elite skirm. And then if you force Japanese even deeper into knights, that's actually a good thing for you, because Japanese don't really have great knights long term. The knights just worked because he didn't really have much army at that time. Anyways, a good series. Again, Cyclops was not expected to win. What seed was he, actually? Can I check this real quick? Does Wikipedia have it? I'm going to get that answer for you guys, actually, because I think that's really nice to know. In that bracket, he was... it's not that outrageous. Okay, so Cyclops was the 4th seed. And initially, he got a bye the first round, basically. He then beat the 5th seed, 2-0. He beat the 1st seed, 3-2. That was Koala. And then he beat the 4th seed here, 3-1. So that's pretty cool. Or wait, no, he was the 4th seed. He beat the 2nd seed. I forget what I said. So anyways, congratulations to Cyclops. We will have, at least for those watching in video form, there will be 10 more best of 5s, because there are 10 more players moving into gold on top of this. And if you're watching on T90 Extras, please leave a comment on what you thought of the series. Again, thank you to everyone who's been really interested in silver. This is what this whole format's about, right? Gold and platinum is going to come. It'll be great, but these players. This is about furthering our scene. Sorry, bumped my mic. And yeah, you got 10 more sets to look forward to, which should be really good with all types of different storylines, players playing from different countries. We've got the young players, we've got the old players, we've got storylines, okay? The Cyclops was 37th seed overall, okay, but he was 4th seed in his group. So that's pretty sick. I think it really shows you that if you practice, if you don't prioritize ranked before a tournament, which many players have done, if you really grind out the maps, you could show up and you can get results. And we have seen that in other groups as well. But I felt as though certain players who've been knocked out, particularly some of the big Chinese players, honestly, I got a message, be like, yo, what's going on with your people, dude? Aren't you training these guys? But particularly, yeah, like some of the high-ranked Chinese players. There's some other examples, not just the Chinese guys, but it clearly just didn't grind training sessions leading up towards Titans League Silver. And Cyclops looked elite. He looked incredible.